Right, so I have returned once again to deliver yet another episode of Inuyashiki. Where we left off last time, it was quite the episode, I must say, because we kind of got a pseudo redemption, though it doesn't really kind of. Thank you, YouTube. Almost going to frighten my life just then, but I managed to survive it. Yeah, last week's episode kind of ended with the fact of Hero's kind of pseudo redemption arc that lasted all of 15 seconds because it's like, yeah, I won't kill anyone, I won't kill any more people now. Eventually, then gets caught. It's like, oh, okay. So now it's kind of the eventual kind of fallout of that event. This was to happen next, and see what actually does happen to Hero's character and his actual kind of psyche. Hello, how's it going? So yeah, kind of excited though. My actual computer completely crashed 5 seconds ago, and then which inadvertently crashed Google Hangouts actually make me into two people. So that's why I was kind of a bit late with episode 6 of this anime, because I thought to myself, what's going on here? It's been a while to actually kind of figure out, oh, that's what's going on. So yeah, that's why I was a bit late. Otherwise I would have started about 2 minutes ago. But alas, anyway. So let's get this show on the road and see what happens to Hero's character. Because I'd imagine something's gonna happen to his character. Like it's kind of set. It's kind of written in stone when you think about it. Like it's kind of like he will have a redemption arc, but it's kind of like how long is it gonna last? No more than 5 seconds. So let's see what actually does happen. Let's not speculate. Actually, let's watch. So in 3, 2, 1, let's begin this thing now. It's actually quite late over here in England. It's actually like almost 6 p.m. Oh geez, dude. They're now fighting a person who's practically unbeatable at this stage. I mean, surprisingly, the CG is actually not so jarring anymore either. Like it was it kind of, it's one of those things you get used to after a while, and it kind of had that mix of 2D and 3D. But get used to it, but now it's kind of not as jarring. It kind of hits that sweet spot. Uh-oh. Don't drag her into this as well. The poor girl. He basically just kind of just went thank you to. Don't drag her into this. I just realized something. We're actually halfway through the series now. I just realized that. I was like, oh my god, yeah, we actually are halfway through. Episode 6 now. I think the series is starting to warm on me slightly. Like it's not. I haven't been completely blown away by it, like everyone else has kind of currently. But I kind of like it. I think it's going from strength to strength each week. It kind of does certain things that makes it kind of seem pretty freaking good. So it's kind of warming on me slightly. I think. Not completely blown away yet. I tend to kind of keep that kind of blown away aspect to myself, like kind of like a backseat just in case. I get burnt out by the end of it. This sometimes does happen with a lot of shows I watch. I can see why people do like it though. I can see why it's actually probably like people saying it's the best anime of the whole entire year and stuff like that. I can see it. I can appreciate it. That's pretty cool, actually. The show does do a good job of actually kind of making you fall in love with Ichiro's character. Because really, you kind of do. It's so goddamn cool. Literally the coolest dude ever. The astronaut must be like, what the F just happened? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, that was a very heavy episode, actually. One of the takes to take away from this actual episode is the fact of how it kind of implemented the idea of media into this whole entire thing. I actually quite found it an interesting concept, because it's one of those things that it's kind of never really concentrated on, but once you actually kind of realize it's there, you're like, Christ, what effect does that actually have on what the events are going down right now? Because that undoubtedly does actually happen in real life when you think about it. If something happens, it kind of goes on the internet, and then what happens then? Like kind of the eventual fallout from there. And that's kind of an interesting concept, actually, kind of an interesting kind of place to go and take the whole entire show afterwards. Is looking at how the effects of the internet has on these events that are transpiring in real life. In a sense, it kind of takes what would otherwise kind of be a kind of, in certain other aspects, kind of not that great concept, but kind of actually made it seem as if it's kind of warranted in this kind of world itself. And actually kind of found it an interesting thing. So in that regard, good work on that front, because it's actually one of those things that I don't know if I've not actually kind of, I've seen it before, if you get what I mean. I've seen the concept done before, but I'm kind of just trying to figure out whether I've ever seen it done to the same degree. I don't know, that's what I'm trying to figure out. But no, very interesting episode overall, I think. Right, so let's have ourselves a talk about episode 6 of Inuyashiki, which was actually quite good, I must say. Very interesting episode more than anything. Like, kind of taken away from everything else. It's kind of more of an interesting episode because it kind of dealt with certain things that kind of do in theory give a layer to Hiro's character. It kind of gives you a whole entire idea of the importance of his mother in his life. The idea of how he kind of felt once she kind of, in his own eyes, betrayed him and actually then inadvertently killed herself. It's kind of one of those things that's actually kind of interesting to see the effects that she had on him, and actually that whole entire thing, that how he kind of felt as if he was completely isolated once she actually basically just came out in the news. He kind of felt as if he had no one else to live by. Like, she was basically the last person he had. In a way, you can actually probably see her as his last shred of humanity in a way. Like, in essence, once that was taken away, he's not kind of in a way human, because we have had this like kind of conversation beforehand, especially with Undo's character. Saint Undo basically said, look, he isn't Hero anymore. He isn't the hero I once knew. And it's true. You saw a shred of that come back once he actually did go to his mother, actually then kind of cured, and actually then kind of inadvertently kind of tried to fix himself. But now, once that's kind of stripped away from him, he's basically nothing. He's nothing. He's not kind of human. He's basically just a mindless killing machine. He's got nothing else to live for in a way. So you actually kind of, in that way, you see him as kind of one of those mindless killing machine kind of villains. Like, it's actually kind of an odd bad way to actually kind of take his character, because it kind of does, in theory, give you an idea of the importance of her on him. And actually, once happens once she's actually gone, once it's actually kind of stripped away from him, what actually happens then? So I did actually like the take they took on his character, because it kind of, he needed a lot more time, I think, to actually kind of just work a lot better. Because I think what happened was episode 2 just didn't do a very good introductory kind of episode for him. I mean, episode 1 did a fantastic job introducing Ichiro's character. Episode 2 didn't really do it too much for Hiro's character. I think now they're starting to remedy that whole entire idea and actually start adding layers to his character, actually kind of making him seem as if he's kind of a bit more deeper than the average kind of character we see anywhere else. So yeah, in that regard, good job, because he's actually one of those characters I wanted to see developed, and actually kind of see a lot more from him, because he was kind of lacking in a way. He was lacking in certain aspects. He's still kind of not, I would deem, a kind of the best villain of the whole entire year. He's not that kind of degree yet. But I don't hate him. I don't hate him in the way I didn't have in episode 2 in a way. And not in the sense that I kind of hate him in the sense that he's actually redeemed all his actions, not in that sense, but you know what I mean? Because I didn't do a really good job for him to actually introduce him for me. Like episode 6 now we're on, it's actually kind of doing a better job for that. So I don't see him the way I saw in episode 2 now. I kind of see episode 6 as kind of the better introduction for his character, the kind of better characterization for his character, actually kind of better overall everything for his character. Granted, not knocking episode 2 in any way, I just kind of think there could have been a lot more there they could have done to actually kind of fix his character a little bit better. Actually then kind of inadvertently kind of fix him for later, because it kind of just done a lot more. But the episode's actually kind of fixed that, I think. So in that way, a good job, because again, up to this whole entire point, he's been kind of the missing link for this whole entire show. Everyone else has been kind of all right. he's just been a missing link, and now he's kind of been kind of fixed to a point that it's actually kind of like, okay, now we really understand his character. Now we understand why he's doing what he's doing. It's kind of, I mean, it doesn't actually fix his actual kind of actions. No way. It doesn't actually fix anything he's doing. It's actually kind of, he's a deplorable human being, and still is. But there's kind of now a reason behind what's going on here, and actually then it kind of adds a layer to his character, actually kind of then tell you the importance of his mother on him, and actually how isolated he actually felt once actually got taken away from him. So yeah, good job on that part. I think they actually kind of did a good job that way. It kind of felt as if they kind of fixed a lot of things the show had wrong, and I think now it's actually kind of going to the point where actually kind of it's kind of warming on me, I think. So yeah, in that way, good job. But yeah, I mean, damn. Now it kind of makes you want to see what happens at the end, like kind of the actual eventual outcome, because it's kind of setting up the fight itself. When you think about it, the whole entire idea of where Undo basically says, "Look, we've got to take him down before he kills any more people," and it kind of one of those things. It kind of does in theory set up this whole entire fight that you really want to see now. This idea of Ichiro finally taking down Hiro's character, because now he's got to the point where you want to see him get taken down. You want to see him get kind of have that fight. You want to see it happen, because it's kind of at that stage that it's getting to that. It's actually kind of getting you hyped to see what that eventual fight was actually going to happen there. Two people who basically are kind of in a way unhuman like, just fighting it out. It's actually kind of interesting to see when it actually does happen. So yeah, I think this show's doing a very freaking good job of actually kind of making you fall in love with Ichiro's character. I think one of those things I actually did go on it with during the streams, the fact of how well he's actually going, in the fact that you really do just get to see how much of a different character is compared to Hiro's character. So it's a nice contrast. Actually, kind of, it's structuring the show so it actually does in theory work. The contrasting does in theory work in its favor, because in other shows you kind of do get those things that sometimes will in theory introduce the villain. You see the hero, you see the villain again, you see the hero again after that point. It kind of feels as if it's kind of like, okay, we get the point. But here it's structured so you don't really kind of feel that contrast. You don't really feel that contrast feeling left fielded. You kind of feel as if it's actually kind of warranted. Actually kind of see both perspectives, actually kind of see what's really going on. But yeah, the main kind of thing that I really did like is the actual implementation of the media. I think that was done quite well. I think it was actually kind of one of the more better things the show has done that's up to the whole entire point. I think it's actually kind of one of the things, if anything, I will remember the show for is the actual implementation of the media and how the effects of that does have on people and what it actually kind of does in the actual context of the events that are happening in real life. I think it's actually quite well done, the idea of how one comment can actually go so far, that whole entire thing. It's not a new concept, don't get me wrong. It's that it's been done in other mediums, actually in other shows as well. It's not one of those things that's actually quite new. But when it's actually implemented in here, it works really freaking damn well. It actually kind of gives you an indication of what really kind of the media does in theory have, and then the internet itself, and actually kind of those boards as well. One of the things, it doesn't actually kind of fix its hero's character at all. None of the things that the show's doing is actually fundamentally fixing his character to the point you actually kind of do like him, but it's kind of just giving you a different perspective on the whole entire events that you otherwise would never get. It's actually kind of in that way working for him. Because again, I don't like him as a person because he's a deplorable human being. None of the actions none of the things he's done to this whole entire point warrant me kind of feeling any emotion for him. That's why when he was basically like, when he actually lost all shred of humanity that he had, I still didn't kind of feel anything towards his character, because it doesn't actually fix his character at all, because I kind of have this deep resenting hatred for his character. But I appreciate the fact it actually kind of gave you that layer. It gave you that layer that otherwise would never ever been there had it not been actually kind of reduced. So good job, because it's one of those things you kind of just you need those things with certain characters. You need to kind of have that edge. It doesn't make you kind of like the character. It just kind of gives you another edge on his character that otherwise would be absent. Which is what I've always been trying to get at with his characters. Where actually kind of like, that's why villains are kind of my favorite thing about the whole entirety of shows, is actually how they do tend to actually kind of implement them into the world itself. And I think now it's actually starting to actually kind of get to the point that he's actually shaping up to be a kind of cool, not cool in a way, but a good villain in that sense. Cool's the wrong word. Good villain. A good villain in the sense that not outstanding, but good is what I'm trying to get at. So yeah, I think all in all, this episode did a very freaking good job of a lot of things, I think. Actually, the animation was actually really well done as well. Like, surprisingly, the animation was actually really on point. Like, it was actually one of those things that really did elevate certain things, actually kind of made certain scenes ever more impactful as well. The whole entirety of how they portrayed Hiro's character during the second half of the episode, when he actually kind of went on that murderous killing spree with the phones, the actual animation there, the way they actually use lighting was actually really freaking well done. I thought, okay, it actually does it really heightens the fear you have towards his character. The idea of how you just can't predict what he will do next. You can't predict what's going to happen with his character, where he's going to go next, and who's going to kill. Because it's one of those things, it kind of, I was not expecting really when he actually kind of went all the way and actually kind of went there and actually then murdered all of those reporters as well. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, Jesus Christ. So it's actually kind of pretty, this show's really freaking morbid when you think about it in larger context. The show's actually very, very morbid in what it actually kind of portrays. But it's like, damn. But yeah, the use of lighting in his character is actually quite well done. It's one of those things that it's an unappreciated thing with an anime because you don't really get that kind of lighting to be the most expert thing that's ever kind of done in shows. When it's actually done right, it actually kind of looks really freaking good. It actually does really work in its favor, and I think it actually did work in this episode. Also, the VAs. The VAs did a fantastic job of actually kind of portraying both characters. I really do like the rookiness that certain characters actually have on the voice actors. In essence, I think, if I remember correctly, Hiro's character hasn't actually had that many roles. He's had quite a few, but not that many. So you actually do kind of see that within his character. It actually kind of makes him. It's one of those things that kind of makes him a bit more, in a way, kind of realistic. Once you get that rookiness in the character, it kind of breaks apart that barrier you have between an anime. Because certainly, you get it with actors as well. Actors have the exact same problem in film. It's the fact that certainly, if you get a fantastic actor, he will do every single line perfectly, but it feels robotic. It feels as if you're kind of like, it's very kind of conveyor belt, if you get what I mean. It's not as if he's kind of putting like 150,000% into it. It's kind of like, yeah, it's Oscar worthy, but it's actually kind of not that kind of, it's not kind of all there. But then you get films like Manchester by the Sea that really kind of breaks that barrier, actually kind of makes it kind of seem as if these people are real. And I think this show does it quite well as well. In essence, not even seem real, but kind of breaking that barrier that anime does have, and actually kind of then makes the VAs kind of a bit more kind of just feel a little bit more human instead of just feeling a little bit more conveyor belt, if you get what I mean. I don't really get that much in anime, but you kind of just you get those voice actors that you actually can hear all the time. Like, oh, it's him. Oh, it's her. It's him. It's her. But here you kind of have no one to grasp upon. So it's actually kind of those things that you kind of you can hear that rookiness within their kind of voice, and actually really does work in essence in portraying that character. I believe Ichiro's actually had one other role, though I don't know whether or not he's actually had live action roles. But still, it works. I actually quite like it. I think it's actually one of those things that I actually appreciate. I think it was quite done very well in Boku Daka ga Inamachi as well. That Satoru's character was his very first role. And actually, it was really well done because of it, because it actually kind of had a layer of realism to his character. It actually kind of made him seem a bit more kind of believable. It actually kind of does work in Ichiro's favor, because it actually makes him a little bit more believable than your average kind of hero. Because you really do get to see that he's actually kind of doesn't really see himself as a hero. He kind of seems to have any other normal human being, but has his power that in theory can actually turn him into kind of a killing machine. Which I know is that being contrasted with Hiro's character, who's basically now turned into a killing machine because he actually has no humanity left. So yeah, I think it's one of those shows that, even if you kind of take away from my opinion that I'm not blown away by it, I do appreciate certain things this show does. It actually does a lot of things quite good. It's not blowing me away, but I appreciate certain things it does actually kind of elevate it beyond what I've seen beforehand. I think it's actually one of the things this show does well. It kind of allows itself to be distinguished between other shows that you kind of not in the same vein, but you kind of see up in other kind of seasons. And it's one of the standout ones, you get what I mean? It's one of the standout shows, I think, of the season, just because of what it does, certainly in certain cases, especially the idea of how it portrays heroes, because again, it's one of those things that heroes are kind of a very, 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 very oversaturated market. So actually kind of get one that seems realistic, actually then in theory deconstructs the whole entire meaning of a hero. It does in theory actually kind of lend itself well to its own anime, actually kind of then make you kind of feel as if, yeah, it actually doesn't waste my time. Though, as I've always said, I do fear how the show will end. I don't know. It has that effect on me that I'm just kind of like, you see it set up to be as kind of this grandiose thing that you just don't want to see. You don't want to get disappointed, so you just kind of feel as if it's actually kind of, you don't feel it just yet, but you're kind of like, will it kind of go the way I think, or will it go some other way? It's one of those things that you fear sometimes. But I'm not fearing it too much, but I'm kind of like, don't know. Want to see how it all turns out. and see how it all turns out and see whether or not I actually do leave the show kind of a different opinion that actually kind of ended it. Which kind of then, if period, do I actually kind of leave it a little bit more disappointed than when I started? But no, I think the show's actually going from strength to strength each week. I think it's actually doing a lot of things better than I imagined, a lot of things better than I expected, and actually a lot of things that really allows it to kind of distinguish itself from its actual kind of peers. Actually, kind of then in theory is actually kind of not a waste of time, because again, the show kind of goes a different route than I imagined. I still won't think I'm wasting my time too much, because I actually think this show did certainly some things good, and should kind of allow itself to be kind of like, yeah, all right. So yeah, I think that's me for today. I do believe. Sorry, I actually kind of have in very, I don't know, my words kind of do get skewered sometimes. It's that fact that I'm actually kind of going ad lib, so my brain's sort of trying to get the things. My brain's trying to think of the things while my mouth is trying to say them. So it's actually one of those things. Sometimes my brain doesn't do both things together at the same time, kind of very conveniently. So I actually do in theory muck up my words sometimes. So I do apologize for that. I actually do it when I read as well. So it's one of those things. It happens, but hopefully my opinion does actually kind of it actually did kind of come out like in the correct way I actually kind of imagined. So yeah. With all that set up, indeed, being the drive, if you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole, and you do want to leave a like, then do leave a like, because indeed, it does me quite a bit. If you have enjoyed what I do here, and you want to stay a bit longer, then do leave a sub, because indeed, it does me quite a bit. But until next week, Inuyashiki episode 7, which actually then kind of inadvertently goes into the final hurdle of the series. I believe after that, probably have like 4 weeks left, I believe. So it's kind of this, it's going to the pseudo final hurdle of the show. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it all kind of comes together and actually kind of then ends. So whether or not my fear is actually kind of unwarranted. But yeah, until then, see you guys later. Bye.